Welcome to the Collide Kids podcast, hosted by Christen Clark. This is a show for kids and families. You are going to meet new people and have fun while you listen. Let's do it!
Hey y'all, welcome to the Collide Kids podcast. I'm your host, Christen Clark. The Collide Kids podcast is a show for kids and families where we learn together how life and faith collide. I am so happy that you're listening today. Thank you so much for being here with me and spending this time. Hey, if it's your first time listening, I just want to say welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I hope you enjoy it and you come back for more. Be sure to listen to the end of every episode. That's where we have the kids only segment where kids just like you get to be on the podcast. Well, I am really excited to share this episode with you today, and I hope that if you enjoy it, you will share this episode with friends and family on your social media or leave a rating and a review on the podcast app you're using. That is really so helpful for my podcast to get better ratings. It also helps more people find the show, and I love reading what you think about the show. Well, you guys are in for such a treat. Today, my friend Molly Blakey is joining the podcast to share her insights on being a professional organizer. Molly has been editing and organizing since she can remember, but after getting married, she found her new military lifestyle presented plenty of opportunity to flex her skills. She and her husband moved to 5 different states in 9 years, growing a family along the way. Buying and selling houses of all different sizes and styles created unique challenges, but she found her stride in staging, decluttering, and setting up each new home for her family as the military moved them from place to place. They've finally landed back home in Georgia, and she enjoys helping others in a process she has had a chance to fine-tune over the past decade. I am so excited for you guys to get excited about organization with my friend Molly Blakey. Molly, I am so excited to have you on the Collide Kids podcast.
Same, boo. I'm so excited. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I love that I get to talk to you. And I think so many of our listeners are definitely tuning in right now because when they find out what you do, they're going to be thrilled to learn all your tips and tricks. So will you just introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. My name is Molly Blakey. I am the owner and founder of the Molly B Effect. I am a professional organizer, so I'm super crazy. But I have 2 children, Eric and Charlotte. Charlotte just turned 6. Eric's about to turn 10. So, oh my gosh. And I married my college sweetheart. He was in the military for 6 years. And then once we finally got back to Georgia, I knew that I always wanted to start this business. I've always been very organized and love structure and stuff like that. So I always knew that this was my big plan, but we just had to wait till we got back to Georgia, which is home for us, to get it going. So we started in August of 2019.
That's amazing. So you have an organizing business.
Yes, ma'am.
And you love organizing?
I do. I love everything about it. System labels and baskets is perfect. Where everyone knows where everything is. It's amazing.
I love having friends like you.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not that type, but I love surrounding myself with people that like to be organized. That helps me out because I'm not that type. But this is so exciting. Okay, I don't know if we should tell on ourselves. So we tried to record this before Christmas, and it was such a good episode, you guys. I can't even tell you.
I mean, I walked away like, I was like, I rocked it.
You did. I learned so much. And it was an amazing episode, and the audio totally messed up. And
it was definitely a user error on my part because as I have many skills of organizing, technology skills are not my strong suit. So sorry.
Well, it's still my bad because I should have caught. No, it's not your fault at all. But it was so fun talking with you then. And so I was like, I don't care. We have to do it again. Like we just have to fix it because it's such good info. All these people need to know. So I learned a lot. Like I said, I got a free session out of it.
Yeah, girl.
And now we get to share with all of our listeners today your skills and tips. But
hopefully,
before we do that, because this is a podcast for kids, we always like to start out with a joke. So do you have a joke for us?
Well, I'm going to do a different one than the last one because, I mean, I don't know if you'll chuckle quite as hard the second go around. But where were pencils invented?
I don't know.
Pennsylvania.
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 I wonder if we have anyone listening from Pennsylvania. Wonder if they
that'd be
would
cool.
confirm that. Like, do you guys make pencils there? That would be good to know.
Maybe. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would. Well, okay, so let's learn a little bit about how you got started in organizing. Like, what inspired you to be an organizer?
Well, I knew from a very young age that I loved organizing. It was kind of like a weird little trait. I mean, everybody's like friends, like all my friends' moms, I'm sure loved when I came over because it was like, oh, we're going to clean up. We're going to like organize and stuff like that. But there's a very distinct memory from when I was in 5th grade. We were moving. My parents had just built their dream home. Like, we were all so excited. The movers were bringing all the stuff in. My sister and I were like jumping on couches. And I remember thinking like, why is nobody stopping us? These are new couches. And I was like, where's mom? Like, where's my mom? And bless her sweet soul, she was in the closet in the fetal position, sobbing. Like, she could not even breathe. Like, she was so upset. And I was like, oh my God, what's wrong? And she was like, I'm just so overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. Like, there's all these people that help you like pack, unpack, move, build. But like, then they just like leave you there with all this stuff. And so I was like, they need to have somebody to come in and help her unpack all these boxes and put everything away like it should be. And I was like, I'll just do it. So that was like my first like, oh, this is kind of weird. I'm in 5th grade. Like, my son's in 4th, and there's no way that his brain would think like that. So we all have many gifts and talents. And I just thought like, oh, that's kind of strange. And then like from then on, it was just kind of like all these little things would be happening. I remember like in my senior year of high school, there's those like weird periods where you have to like take notes and stuff. I don't remember, what is that called? I don't know, but like that was that period. Yeah. Or that was that period for me. Cause it's senior year. It's kind of like, whatever. Right. So, and I remember being like, I'm bored. Can I just leave and go organize my mom's refrigerator? So the attendance lady calls my mom and she's like, yeah, sounds great. Tell her to come on. So it's just always been a weird little quirk of mine. But I just knew that I wanted to do something in it. Starting my own business was a huge dream. I didn't know if it would have actually ever come to fruition. But once we got back here in Georgia, I knew that like this was kind of my time. I'd been a stay-at-home mom since Eric was born. So it was just a really wonderful time. And we just kind of launched it and went from there.
That's awesome. And so what does your company do? Like, you go into people's houses and help them unpack from moving. What else do you do?
Yes. So we do anything from helping you pack to move. So we can kind of help you purge because, sometimes we move people who are moving across the country or just down the street. So we can help you move, get packed up to move. We can help you when you get to your new house. We can help you unpack, get your house fully set up and fully organized. So it's all done in the beginning. And then our normal day to day is just everyday clients like you and I, just the pantry needs a edit, the laundry room, master closet, things like that, playrooms. We just come in, we bring all of the stuff with us. So you don't have to like measure or go buy anything. We bring all of the materials that you will need. And then we just come in, categorize everything, we have you purge it, and then we create a system for you. So it's kind of painless on the client's end. So it's so much fun.
I love that you said purging because that is a big part of organizing is getting rid of a lot of stuff that you don't use anymore or you're going to use again or things that are just old and broken. Like, why do you keep that stuff?
Exactly. And sometimes you're like, oh, I didn't even realize I had this. So like when we categorize it and we put like, all of the spatulas together or like all the kids' tennis shoes and you're like, oh my gosh, like where did these come from? Because they just got tucked back and you're like, oh, we don't need that. So then, like other families, donations and things like that to give to families that, who could use it.
I love that idea. And we have that in our closet. We have a donation basket and it just grows and grows and grows of things that the kids outgrow or the things that we just don't use. And so that's just a great way to give back to others. That's a great way to be generous without having to spend any money.
Right, exactly. And I always like in our clients' homes. So this is a little tip for all of you kiddos and mamas out there, daddies, when I have like a bin in everybody's closet. That's a too small bin. So if you like put the shirt on in the morning and it doesn't fit, then you don't just like throw it back in the laundry basket and you rewash it and then we redo this whole cycle. You just throw it in the too small bin. And then when you do have time to donate it or, like call a friend, like, hey, do your kids want these? Like, then you have time for it, but it's in the bin and you'll have to rewash it and rethink about it. And it just kind of helps things go a little bit smoother. So we do that in almost every single client's home. So
that's really smart. I like that. So I know everybody's itching for tips and tricks to get their house organized today. So what are some things that we could start working on? Because we're looking around at our house right now and we're like, wow, this is really unorganized. So where do we start? How do we start?
Oh, goodness. I always say to start with the place or space that drives you the craziest, or the action, like trying to get out the door. Is that something that sends everybody through the roof every single day? Or is it like your pantry or your closet? So pick a space that drives you the craziest and just start there and only focus on that space and think of how can you make it better? Why is it getting on your nerves? Is it because the kids are sitting in the middle of the floor right in front of the doorway to put their shoes on? Let's put a bench over here where it's tucked away, or, let's put the shoes somewhere else. But having just a shoe bin in and of itself is a game changer, because then everybody knows where their shoes go and it creates less chaos. We know where our shoes are because they're right there in the bin where they should be. So definitely start small, but start with the thing that makes you the craziest, because that's going to help you. You'll see instant gratification from, oh, we all know where the shoes are. We can get out the door faster and we're not running around like crazy people in the morning.
Right. Just having that right there by the door. That's so smart. Think about what drives you the craziest and start there. Because I know for me, I don't know if anybody else is like this, but I'll start to clean the dishes and then I'll find something that needs to go in another room, and then I'll start picking up laundry, and then I'll see wrappers stuffed in the couch, and then, it's just this vicious cycle, and then I'm like, what was I doing earlier?
Right. Oh,
So,
yes.
I think starting in one place, that's really good to try to focus on that one spot.
Mm-hmm. And then if you are doing the mudroom, or, the area where all the book bags are and stuff, and you're like, gosh, this does not belong here, just have a separate bin for that stuff later, because that's when we get so distracted and you're like, this poncho doesn't need to be here. Why do we have ponchos? And then you're just go down this cycle, put it in another bin and deal with it later. Just stay focused on that one space. If it's the pantry and there's a random softball in there, so, just put it in a bin, deal with it later. Just stay focused on that one area, because if not, then you're just going to make yourself a mess, and then it's just going to be even more frustrating, and then you're going to feel like a failure when you're just trying to make life a little bit easier,
Exactly. Oh, that's so smart, just to have something where you can put those things to deal with later.
Yes. And I always say, before you start, don't just randomly just jump in your mudroom. You get, it's got to be a planned out thing. Make sure you have at least, I always set a timer, because sometimes we can get lost in what we're doing and it can take hours, and nobody has time for that. So set a timer, get 2 different colored trash bags or 2 different bins, a box for donations, a white trash bag for trash, a black trash bag for donate, kind of just so you're set up so you're not I have 8 trash bags and I don't know if this is trash or donate. So if you just kind of separate it all, then you're not having to think, which is what am I doing? What was this? And then you're going through it, and you got spices thrown everywhere, and you know what I mean? So be prepared, have a system already in place of either boxes or bags, different colors, and then a basket to deal with all the stuff that does not belong in that space.
Yes, and then you can come back to it later.
Yes.
If your timer goes off, you're like, okay,
Yep.
I know what these baskets or
Yep.
these bags are. Oh, that's so smart. I feel like you have a camera in my house and you've seen me clean before. This sounds like
No. It's 9 out of 10 households run like this. So just trying to help.
No, I love it. This is so good. So, okay, I'm thinking about the people that are listening, okay, we can't afford to go buy a whole organizational system or all these boxes and labels and stuff like that. So what are some budget friendly ideas for getting organized?
Honest to goodness, it does not. I mean, yes, obviously for what I do, I love to make it look aesthetically pleasing. I mean, this is a business. No one wants to look at, anything Amazon boxes everywhere. But if Amazon boxes work for you, put your kids' shoes in the Amazon box and close the door, and put them in the garage, or use old Tupperware, it doesn't have a lid. Well, reuse it to put everybody's keys in, or their wallet. Or I always say, everybody needs a drop zone for their wallets and their sunglasses and their keys. You have a pretty bowl, just put it all in there, and it's in the kitchen or right wherever you walk in and out. Everything goes in the bowl. We all have these random serving platters and bowls that we got when we got married. You know what I mean? Just repurpose it. Throw your keys, throw your sunnies in there, And then at least you know where everything is. So you're not trying to find the keys when you're trying to find the shoes.
Yes. The more it sounds like the more systems you have in place,
oh my gosh,
the easier it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, if you think about it, your whole life is a system. Like the way you wake up, the way you do things, like, there's all habits. It's all discipline. It's all repetition. So you just have to like take 1 second to think like, why is this making me so angry? Why am I so mad? Well, I can't find my keys. But if I had just one little bowl, it could solve everything. And everyone knows where it is. So it's just taking the time to think like, why am I getting, upset? Or why am I getting frustrated with my kids? Like, how can I make this better? It takes literally 5 minutes to be like, oh yeah, this would be easier. So
we'll be right back after this. You know, raising kids in the digital age isn't easy, but Bark Technology makes products that help parents keep their kids safe online and in real life. They have an app, a phone, and a home device that lets families set parental controls on their internet-connected devices. I love the app because it helps us manage screen time and blocks websites and apps we want our kids to avoid. It also sends alerts and gives us the ability to monitor texts and social media and even track your child's location. Visit bark.us to learn more about how you can keep your kids safe online. Use the code COLLIDEKIDS to get 15% off your subscription of the Bark app. Yeah, I think that's so smart. I love the idea too of just finding what you already have,
yeah,
and making it work until you can get the thing that you want. But don't wait until you have the money for the organizational full system to start organizing. You can,
and
do
especially
that now.
like pantries, like everyone, I mean, I've spent thousands of dollars in people's pantries, but like that's not what I can do. And I don't want anyone to think that they have to too. As long as you have like the categories together. So if you have like all the sauces together and then just move it and just like make sure there's enough space in between each different category, then you're not going to over purchase because you've seen like, oh, this is what it is. And your brain will somewhat remember like when you're at the grocery store, like, oh, that sauce section is really full or it's getting low and that type of thing. So you're not over purchasing too.
That's really smart. And being able to see what you have is really helpful. Yes.
Absolutely.
Because like you were saying earlier, when we're purging, we're like, I forgot I had this.
Yeah.
So it helps to see what you have so you don't keep buying the same thing.
Absolutely. Yep. Especially like in like even with like kids' clothes and their shoes, like if you bought them on sale last year, but you kind of forgot about them and then you're like, oh wait, it's already the next year. And then I forgot about them. If you have like a bin that like you buy those extra clothes for next year, it's just at the top of their closet or underneath their bed, you'll remember like, oh, let me go check that before I go buy more clothes. Cause I mean, gosh, we've all done that, like, oh, this is on sale. Let me get it for next year. And you're like, I forgot about that. July 4th's over,
This would have been so cute if it was.
Yep.
Yes, I know. They always go through a growth spurt, I feel like, right after we buy clothes.
Yep.
Speaking of kids, let's think about the kids, because you said this was something you loved to do even when you were a fifth grader. This was something that you were inspired to do. So what are some things that kids can do to get organized?
I love, because there are so many people who reach out and they're like, my kid's way more organized than I am. Like, how can I help them? And like, let them think of the ideas. Like, I've had kids who have literally taken old shoe boxes and put it in their drawers just to divide it up. So, I mean, it's just simple things like that. Like, if they love it, like, try and get in with them and help them realize there are ways that you can go about this. You categorize, you purge, and then you create a system. And like, kids listening, like, take that and you can do it yourself. I mean, it's not rocket science, it's just like taking the time to do it. And if you love it, like, embrace it, especially when it comes to like your toys, because that will really help mom and dad out. So just keeping things like, get old Tupperware, get an old shoebox and put all of your, Polly Pockets in it or whatever it might be. As long, like, just keeping things by category really helps. And then it's a shoebox. You can write on the outside of it with a Sharpie marker, Barbies, Barbie shoes or whatever it might be. So, just get involved and, ask your parents, like, hey, I see that you're getting a little frustrated every morning because we can't find our shoes. Well, I have a little solution, just that type of thing, just to kind of give their input too, because kids are way more aware than we even think they are. Wish they weren't, but
I know they do pick up on a lot.
Oh, yes, they do.
Okay, so you keep saying categorize. Can you explain that? Like, how do we categorize?
Okay, so I'm going to put in for kids. So your toys. So we've got Pokemon cards, we've got baseball cards, we have Barbie dolls, we have Barbie accessories, we have Barbie clothes. Those are all the types of categories. So like each item is a category. It's like in the kitchen, you have baking items, you have like slicers and dicers, you have gadgets that only do one thing, which makes Molly be crazy. So there's all like you have to just kind of think about it and take a minute to think about like what the categories are, and they're definitely going to change. The toys will change constantly. I feel like, Legos. So just categorize them into how they are at the store. They're done by categories. All the Legos are together. All the Barbies are together. But then also taking those and branching them out just a little bit more to realize like, oh, we have 45 dresses for these Barbies when we only have 4 Barbies. Like, we don't need 45 dresses, let's, purge some of those. But when you put them all together, when you put the categories together, you'll realize like, oh, we have way too much. Or like, we could use a little bit more of this, like especially Tupperware. I feel like that's one of those things. But Tupperware, put them all together, make sure everything has a lid. If it doesn't have a lid, repurpose it somewhere else in your house. Like I've been saying, to help contain. It's all about containing and having a place to put it at the end of the day. So like you feel like your house is tidy, or when people are coming over, you can just quickly do it and then close the doors, but it still looks good.
Right. And I think that helps everyone in the family when everyone knows where stuff goes.
Yes.
Because that's the hardest part is like, have you ever been to someone else's house and you're like, I don't know where you keep this. Or,
yes.
I don't know where do you put your forks,
Yeah, exactly.
Help unload the dishwasher. So knowing where everything goes, having that system, that helps the whole family.
It really does. It helps kids feel more confident that like they're not going to do it wrong, because like I know that my kids, like if they know how to clean up, like if I tell them to go clean up, like, oh, it's a drag, yes, but like they feel confident in knowing like I know my Barbies go here, I know my Pokemon go here, so they know that they are doing a good job. It's just a hassle, but I mean, that's life. So
right, that is. So is your house just spotless and organized all the time?
I mean, yeah. It is, but I mean, this is what I love, and like, if it's not, then I go crazy. I thrive. My family thrives really well on structure. My kids love it and crave it. But I mean, I do let them play with their toys all throughout the week. I don't make them clean up every single night. The kitchen and my main spaces are definitely clean every single night before I go to bed. But they're kids, so I'm not going to make them clean up their toys every single day when they're just going to get them back out.
Right.
But we have separate floors now, but like whenever they were little and we had a different home and it was all in space and I could see it all, like I had to put it up at night. But so it just kind of depends on your family and you as a mom. Like if you realize like that doesn't get on my nerves, okay, clean it up once a week or once a month. Like as long as you know where it's going to go after the cleanup time, that's perfect. Like don't put pressure on yourself to have your house perfect every single night. Like if that's you don't care, don't care.
Yeah,
you do you.
Right. Make it work for your family.
Right.
Like my house doesn't have to look like your house. And
correct.
It doesn't have to look like the stuff on the social media that we see, like all the houses.
Yeah.
Like don't compare to other families. Just make it work.
Yeah.
Make those systems work for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you go to bed at night and like that playroom looks like a bomb went off, like, and it doesn't bother you, great. Go to sleep.
So
doesn't matter.
Shut the door.
Outside, out of mind.
That's right. Don't look at it and you won't see it.
Yep.
That's good. Well, let me ask you this. How does organizing and what you do in your job, how does that apply to your faith in God?
Oh, that's such a good question. I know that like this is like what God intended me to do. Like I just know that like this is a skill set that he blessed me with because it's not most people have it to be able to go in and just like completely transform it. But I just know that like I can change families' lives. And you can, like, if you have the skill set too, you can change your family's life by just getting little systems in place because it really does. It's just less stress. I mean, it's amazing how many families will come back and they're like, wow, we didn't realize how much we were yelling or how argumentative we were just trying to find things. And it really is just like a sense of peace. And like, I just have always known like this is a really cool gift that God gave me, and I've just got to use it to share the love and help other families because we all have gifts from God, and
Right.
it's not this, like, you have your wonderful gifts. Everyone has a gift. It's just kind of like digging deep and trying to figure out what it is and like, how can you share it? Like, I know, like, I am not meant to be a teacher. I cannot teach my dog how to sit. Like, I know that I am not a teacher, but there's so many who are. And so, like, to give those gifts back to your church or to your family is just to recognize those is just so important. And, I'm very grateful that I learned at an early age what mine was. So, hopefully I can just keep on giving back.
Yeah, and hopefully inspire someone that's listening today like, hey, I like to do that. You
Yeah.
know, people sometimes think like, I'm the only one that has this thing, or I'm the only one that likes this kind of stuff.
Right.
That might be what God has created you to do. That might be your purpose.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think it's so true also that when we put these systems in place, it really makes our homes feel a lot more peaceful. And so I think that's so great that that's what your job is, to help bring peace.
Just like a calmness, because like I've always, like, so many people are like, oh, I hate my house. Like, this isn't our forever home. But like, be so proud of this house. Like, I mean, this is what is, you know, providing for your family, a roof and, you know, all these things. Like, love it. It might not be your dream home. It might not be your forever home, but just love the space that you're in. Create it so your kids want to have friends over, and just make it warm and inviting. It doesn't have to be perfectly organized, no, but as long as the systems are moving and no one is fighting over the same thing every single day, then like, that's a win in my book. You know, it's just, it really is life-changing when you just take a few minutes. It doesn't have to take a long time to just be like, why am I so frustrated? It's because they can't find their pencil when they're trying to do their homework because he left it over here yesterday. And, you know, it's just like little things, like, just take a minute and be like, I could put it all in this cup, or it's right here, and everybody puts it right back in. You know, just like little bitty things that can just kind of transform, bring the peace, be intentional with your kids, and have more time with your kids, because you're not running ragged 24/7 trying to find the soccer cleats or what, you know. Like, if they're in the space, like, that's one less thing. You know, you can have 5 more minutes to read a book with your kid because you're not searching the house for the soccer cleats or whatever it may be.
That's so smart. I love that. Okay, so I know this is something we talked about when we did the episode earlier. When is the best time to start organizing? Today?
Yes. Just little things.
We don't need to wait until January 1st to, like, next year.
No. Because, I mean, it's just, you know, I feel like this year everyone's, you know, trying to, you know, we're always trying to better ourselves. So just, like, take one little thing, one drawer. If this is intimidating to you, I get it. It's a lot. And, like, the whole kitchen, that's a lot. It's a lot of work. Just take one drawer at a time. Take one shelf at a time. And just kind of, like, start slow. And then eventually, over a few months, you're going to be done. And you're going to feel great going into the summer. And, you know, it's just little things like all the sunscreen. Like, the other day, I did a massive quick purge through the whole house on just just putting things back exactly where it's supposed to go. And those little medicine cups, oh my gosh, why? Why do we have so many of them? You can tell we've gone through some illnesses this last few months, but like, you know, but once you kind of collect it all, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. We have 400 of these, you know? Yeah. So, but if they're all in the same spot, then you can quickly see, oh wow, this is crazy.
Yes. So start today.
Start small. And just give yourself grace with it. It's not going to be Instagram perfection. It doesn't have to be, as long as it works for you and your family and the kids feel confident. Like, let them write the label. It could be literally like one of those little stickers or anything. They can write on the box, whatever. Let them write it so they know. Like, I had the kids write their names on their shoe bins when they were much younger. And so, like, they like took pride and they're like, oh, I wrote that. Like, that's Charlotte's bin, you know, so they just felt confident in that. Like, get them involved, let them help you, and see that, like, mommy or daddy, we're really trying. So and kids really do want to help in some areas. Maybe this is their area to help out. So if they enjoy this kind of stuff, let them do it. If they love helping unpack the groceries, like, let's put it all, you know, like, let's put this category here, and like kind of help them see, like, oh, this is going to be much better if we know all the cheese is over here and all the meats are over here. It's like everything has a system if you think about it. And so you're not like trying to figure out, like, I thought we bought string cheese last week. All the cheese is right there. There you go. You know what I mean?
I love that. One of the things that's helped me, because like I said, I'm not an organized person, is having accountability. And I remember one time one of the girls in my small group said, all right, everybody in our small group today, we are going to clean out the cabinet under our sinks in our bathroom.
Love it.
And she's like, we're all going to do it. And then send a picture that you did it to the group. And I was like, I don't want to do that today. But because I had that accountability of someone saying you got to do it and take a picture to prove that you did it.
Yeah.
So I got in there and found so much stuff and so many empty bottles that I was just saving and cleaning out all of that. So just having somebody, even if it's just a friend, to say, okay, I'm going to clean my junk drawer in my kitchen and I'm going to send you a picture of it and you do yours. And having that accountability, I think that really helps those of us that aren't good at this.
Yes, absolutely. And if you are like, this is weird, I don't know who could be my accountability partner, I'm here for you guys. Just DM me, call me, text me, whatever. I would love to do that.
Yes.
But also, like, you can create, like, especially if you're getting the kids involved, create, like, a reward system. Like, if we get the playroom knocked out and we get this, and, have a little sticker chart if you want to, especially if your kids are much younger. Like, just do a sticker chart. And then, like, Friday, we get to have a family movie night, or we get to go on a date night or something. Just kind of get them excited. Because, we all do best when we have rewards at the end of it. Let's be honest.
That's so true. And it doesn't take much.
Like a popcorn and movie. That's easy.
Yeah, that's great. I love that idea. Well, Molly, this has been so good.
I know.
And so helpful. I think so many people are going to have much cleaner houses after they listen to this.
Just less stress. We just want to keep the peace. And it doesn't have to be a beautiful, Pinterest worthy. Just make it work for you and your family.
Yes. How can our listeners find more about you and your company?
I am on Instagram, Facebook. We have a website, and everything is at the Molly B Effect.
All right. Well, you guys go check out her stuff. She posts a lot of good videos and tips and tricks, so definitely check her out.
All the time.
Yes. Well, before I let you go, I always like to ask my guests to share a memory from when they were a kid. So do you have a memory you want to share with us today?
Okay, so the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me...
Okay,
here we go, folks. Y'all are about to... Not many people know this story, so I'm about to blast it for everybody to know, right? Okay, I was in 6th grade, and my younger sister, she is like 4 years... We're 4 years apart in, like, grades. So they had the fall festival, and they had those big inflatable slides, and, I was in 6th grade, so I was like, too cool for school. So I was feeling good, went on this... The big bouncy slides, like I'm talking about the huge ones. I got up to the top and I was so excited. I jumped so high and came down so hard, and it was on gravel, that the whole slide collapsed in on me. And I shot up like a slingshot and fell face forwards. My bottom hit the gravel. I broke my tailbone and split my pants open. And all these people were there, so I just tried to walk it out like nothing had happened, because it was so embarrassing. Like a slingshot had just flung out of this slide, and my pants were split open, and I could barely walk. It was horrible. It was so painful. So all of that to say, never think that you are too cool for school.
That's right. And don't
stay humble, folks.
And don't walk it off if you have a broken tailbone.
Oh, it was horrible. Still not fixed, but it's fine. Oh, man.
That's amazing. I love that you shared that. That's so good. All the parents kind of know about those bouncy houses, that they're a little unstable.
A little suspect.
Yeah, they're so fun, but they're a little unstable.
Wow. So be careful.
Be careful in those. It'll shoot you like a slingshot.
Oh my gosh, so embarrassing.
That's awesome. Well, Molly, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. This was so much fun.
Thank you.
I just love being friends with organized people. They inspire me so much. Molly gave us some great tips today, like start with an area of your house or a room that bothers you the most. Just do that small piece, and that will really keep you motivated to keep going. And if you're like me and you get distracted, have a bin or a basket to collect the things to take care of later, so you stay focused on the task in front of you. And kids and adults of all ages, I think, can learn to categorize. This helps bring order and also helps you see what you already have so you don't go and buy more of it. And she said, start today. Don't wait. Just set a timer, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and knock out something that will help bring peace and calmness to your home and your family life. One of the things I loved was that Molly recognized this unique set of talent and skills she has for organizing is something that God has put inside her. She knows she was created to do this and help people this way, and she gives God all the credit for how he has wired her. If you'd like to learn more about Molly and her team and her organizational company, you can go to themollybeeffect.com. You can also follow her on Facebook and Instagram and check out some of her helpful videos and tips. Well, now it's time for the kids only segment. This is the part of the show where you get to be on the podcast. So here is my friend Grace.
Hi, Kristen. Here is my favorite kids memory verse. Whoever will call on the name of the Lord will be saved. Romans chapter 10, verse 13.
Thank you, Grace. I love your enthusiasm. And Romans is one of my favorite books of the Bible. I love that. Hey, if you would like to be like Grace and share your favorite Bible verse, or maybe you have a fun joke or a song or a favorite quote that you want to share, you can go to my website, CollideKidsPodcast.com, and click the tab at the top that says Kids Only, or you can find out how to send it to me through my social media. I'm on Facebook at the Collide Kids Podcast or on Instagram at Collide Kids Pod. Hey, if you would like to support the podcast, there's a few ways you can do that. First, be sure to subscribe and follow this podcast and leave a rating and a review. Like we said before, that's so helpful and I love reading those. You can also share this episode with friends and family on your social media or through text message or email and let them know why you and your family like to listen. And anytime you think about it, I always appreciate your prayer support as well. Well, I hope you guys will take some of the tips that you learned today and get something in your house organized. I don't care what it is, something small, something big, just something that will bring more peace and calmness to your family. And you can send a picture of it to me on my social media and let me know that you got some things cleaned up. I will be so proud and give you lots of gold stars. Well, in case no one has told you today, I would love to be the first to remind you that God loves you so much. Thanks for listening.
You don't have to go very far looking for bad news because somehow it just finds you. So finding peace in the chaos can be really difficult, but it doesn't have to be because the River mobile app exists. The River is a Christian music radio station dedicated to playing music to help you get through life's toughest moments or life's happiest moments and everywhere in between. And all from artists who love Jesus and are real people just like you. Listening is easy. You can download it wherever you get apps from. Just search 1049 The River or listen online at riverradio.com. And know that The River is proud to partner with the Collide Kids Podcast.